This is not going to be a long review because it is a short book, The Holy Science by Sri Yukteswar, who is the guru of Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote Autobiography of a Yogi, if you're not familiar with it. Highly, highly recommend reading Autobiography of a Yogi if you're interested in spirituality and exploring spirituality. Because in that book, he goes through, which I reviewed, you'll see it in my videos if you go down below, about that book on how he reviews, mainly quotes a lot of Bible quotes in that, apart from essentially Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma. People mistake who are not familiar with the essential history of Indian subcontinent. It's not Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma. Even I wasn't aware till I started digging more, being born in India, or even I wasn't familiar with that. Anyway, what Yukteswar goes into is really fascinating. Pretty much every chapter, every kind of principle starts with the, kind of the Vedas or the ancient text of India or Sanatana Dharma. And then he gets into the Bible quote, right? How it relates to the Bible and what Jesus said or what the Bible said essentially, or what it was meant. One of the things I've learned is, like, this old text, you got to remember that they are told in the context of that time, whenever it was written, just completely different context, meaning how symbolism was used versus today. So that's the nuance we don't get unless we understand then, right? So many things might be, doesn't make any sense, or you might think it's what they meant, might be completely different from what we realize now to then, right? So anyway, the biggest thing is, like, he starts with the whole cycle of universe. How, for example, the first, it starts with how the planets are rotating, planets are rotating on their axis, and that is affecting the moons, right? The dependent moon's rotation. And then the planets itself rotating based on there's that particular sun. And the sun itself is rotating based on the forces with the other stars or whatever. So which is basically goes into 24,000 years. And that's how each cycle starts. So fascinating explanation there, makes kind of like the science. Essentially, he's kind of explaining the science based on the text and spiritual understanding. But he also goes into even like what, based on the anatomy and all that stuff, how people are meant to eat and what are they supposed to eat. You can agree, disagree with that, but it's fascinating that he doesn't just say, like, without any basis that, hey, you should eat meat or you shouldn't eat meat or should be purely plant-based or whatever, right? He goes into the human digestive system, how it's arranged in relation to other animals and what they eat, including our teeth and everything, right? Which was another fascinating thing. But mainly, most fascinating thing is how there are a lot of symbolisms, both in the old ancient text, essentially in Indian text. I'm pretty sure it'll be the same if you go into, I don't know, Sufism, or if you go into, I haven't read Quran, but maybe that's the case too there. I've read the Bible a little bit, so I'm kind of familiar with Bible a little bit more than any other religion other than the Hinduism. And then same thing with maybe I forgot some other Eastern philosophy, Taoism, everything, right? Everything kind of flows together. The truths are similar. That's the whole point. That humankind divide themselves. I'm talking about even me, right? Based on certain belief system that this is the truth. That's wrong, and this is true. Or this Bible, even like, this version of the Bible is right versus that other version, maybe not 100% true. This is 100% true versus that it's not. right? So that's the whole point of the book, is understanding the universal truths, and many truths are stated in Bible, have been stated in other texts. So every knowledgeable or enlightened human being, I would say, comes to the same conclusions, or comes to the same truth, that we are all same, we are all equal, we're all, whether you believe in God or not, made out of the same material. Even if you don't believe in God, right, we're made out of the same material. Ultimate energy can be essentially created anyway, right? So even the insects and everything are made of the same energy. So great small book, maybe 3-4 hours to read. Well, for one caution, I would say, some of the verses are in Hindi. Even although I know how to read in Hindi, it's been a long time, so it was tough for me to read them. I just stuck with the translations right below. So even if you don't know, it doesn't matter. The translation is right below, and I'm not sure if it's accurate translation, but it didn't matter. I was just more reading through interested in the actual explanation and the relation to what the Bible said, or what's in the Bible, the verses in the Bible, the related verses. Again, remember, it's not like one-on-one translation of everything in the Bible or everything in the Vedas. His intention, I believe, was more to show everyone how East and West are closely related, pretty much the same. We can divide ourselves, but ultimately the truth is everybody is the same. Only human beings create that whole identity, community identity, individual identity, so on and so forth, country identity based on certain belief system. We think it's unique, versus the truth is everybody has the same laws, universal laws. They are same for everybody, regardless of where you were born or what religion you believe in. So short book, 3 to 4 hours read, highly recommend. If you're into spirituality, understanding also the potential science behind the spirituality, how planetary rotation, all that stuff affects, because he goes into depth about how the dark ages were based on the timing, right? And how the future right now is getting on to this, the high level knowledge base. He said that in 1890, that, human beings are going to explode in knowledge and discover a lot of different things, which with the AI and all, it's not hard to believe now anymore. So anyway, highly recommend reading this book.